So today we're going to talk about the essential things that you're going to need to know now that you are choosing either an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, and also some of those accessories. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. When it comes to selecting your first guitar, there's a few factors to consider. And first, let's talk about the two main types of guitars. There's acoustic guitar and there's electric guitars. Acoustic guitars are great for beginners because they're versatile and they don't require any additional equipment like an amplifier. There are two main types of guitars. There's steel string and then there's nylon string. And a nylon string is typically going to be found in a classical setting. Steel strings usually have a brighter tone. They're played in folk, country music, rock music. It's typically the ones that you associate with acoustic guitar. On the other hand, if you prefer classical or flamenco music, a nylon string guitar would definitely be the way to go. Now for electric guitars, they're also a popular choice for beginners, especially in rock, in metal, blues, even in a lot of church environments. But there's a thinner body and they're lighter strings, and the challenge with it is that you have to have an amplifier in order to be able to play it. So keep in mind that you'll have to have extra money in your budget in order to be able to kind of get exactly what you want. I have a video, I'll link in the description below, on some of the pros and cons of acoustic guitars and electric guitars, really kind of getting into those details. But when choosing a guitar, you need to also consider your budget, your musical preferences, and your comfort. So just go to a local store and actually put a guitar in your hands. Buying it sight unseen on the internet, especially for you as a beginner, is probably not going to be the best thing for you, because you really want to make sure that you like what you're holding, and you may not like it at all and then you have to return it and all that. Just see if you can get one at a store, have it in your hands, leave the store with it if you can. If not, then find a cheaper one online. So here's some of the essential accessories that you're gonna need to possibly, consider with having a guitar. Number one is guitar picks. Guitar picks, I tell my students all the time, let's start out with a soft pick. Some teachers use like heavier picks. I prefer this type of pick. It's a medium Dunlop. It has a 0.73 thickness. I started out with a very thin nylon string because my hands were really stiff and I didn't have a lot of wrist control. So with the guitar picks, then you have to figure out a strap. Now I'm a bigger guy, so I don't really like thin straps. I like levies. Levies is a padded strap. It goes across my shoulder and it doesn't create as much fatigue as some of those smaller nylon straps actually do. So I prefer a thicker strap because just for sheer comfort. Guitar tuners is also something that you're going to have to consider. If you have electric guitar, you typically have a pedal that you can use, and it also functions like a mute switch. Or you have the guitar tuner at the end of the headstock, which is great, especially if you're playing in your bedroom or you're playing in quiet environments. Those are some of the things that you have to consider, but you can get a super cheap one on Amazon for like $15. Even your cell phones nowadays have tuners that you can download for free as an app. Always want to make sure, number one, you're always in tune. So a guitar tuner it's crucial because it keeps the guitar in tune and it helps it sound great. It makes you sound good. So clip-on tuners are good, pedal tuners, smartphone, just like we said. Choose one that suits your needs the best. Now, for a guitar, you have to put it down at some point, so a guitar stand would work really well for you. So you have to decide what kind of stand that you want. There's some expensive ones like Hercules, and there's also some really cheap stuff that you can get on Amazon. Now just remember this, especially with a guitar, you're going to make a purchase of several $100s, if not more, even more expensive guitars, and you're going to take this really nice guitar and put it on a cheap guitar stand. It doesn't make any sense, like a $15 guitar stand. I would choose a better one. Make the investment. You're going to have it for a long time, especially when you put the guitar down. You'll be able to secure it on the floor. Now some of you guys have animals or small children, and putting a guitar on the floor is not a good idea. So you can also use a wall hanger, something you can actually just hang the guitar on the wall and keep it out of sight for your kids or your animals or anything like that if you don't want it to get messed up. Not only with the guitar stands, with guitar picks, is guitar strings, and the jury is out on a lot of those. But I have my favorites. I use a D'Addario for my acoustic strings. I'll have a link to the description below, and you can get it from Sweetwater. I don't get any payment from that or anything like that, but I just wanted to share what type I get. And that D'Addario, sometimes you can get them in triplets, so in a 3-pack. And the reason why I buy them in a 3-pack is because as I'm tuning a guitar or I'm restringing, sometimes the strings break. It does happen, and if you always want to make sure you have an extra set of strings. So I buy them in packs of 3. And for my electric guitar strings, I do the same thing as well. Now the electric guitar strings, you don't have to change as much as your acoustic guitar strings. But you still want to make sure you maintain regular maintenance on strings, either for an electric or acoustic or a nylon. A capo, here's another essential that you're probably going to want to make a purchase of, about $15. A capo is great. It's a handy accessory. It just allows you to change the key of a song easily, and it is essential kind of for beginners, just kind of learning, because you may only know a handful of chords, and knowing those handful of chords, you can move that capo up and down. I'm going to create a video on capo usage because they're so versatile, and they just create, especially for beginners, they're just really easier to use, especially when you're singing along. So you only know about 4 or 5 chords, you can kind of get through some of these songs pretty easily. Some songs even only have 2 or 3 chords. And the last thing you want to consider is a gig bag or a guitar case. I have hard cases that I keep my guitars in when I travel with, but when I do travel with them, they are very, very heavy. And a hard case, you got to think, if you're going to be traveling with it on an airline or something like that, those hard cases really don't do a great job as a flight case. Those are more expensive cases. Just for you as a beginner, what you want to make sure is don't get worried about all this other stuff. You just want the simple things. You just want a soft case for a little while, and then you can graduate to a hard case. There's lots of manufacturers, but make sure that if you buy a hard case, make sure that that guitar fits inside of that guitar case. I've had friends who've purchased guitar cases that are hard, and the hard shell case, and they just don't fit because the dimensions of the guitar don't fit the guitar case. So make sure you double check and triple check and make sure that works. But you can't go wrong with a gig bag, a soft bag. You can put on it wear it as a backpack. They're great. I've used those over the years. You just gotta be, can't be rough on them either. So you've got all this stuff. You got the capo, you've got the extra strings, you've got the case, you've got all these things. I really do hope that this was helpful for you, just to kind of get started. Because really, my goal for a lot of you guys who are viewing these videos, I want you to get started and just play with your feel. So there you have it. You've got all these accessories. But don't get too lost in having to buy all this stuff. You just need the essentials. And when you have the essentials, then focus on your guitar playing and don't get lost in the soup of having to buy the next greatest piece of equipment or something like that. Just become a great player. The best professional guitar players can get handed a $100 guitar and they can make that thing sing because it's all in the way that they touch it. So in our next video, we'll cover the basic guitar chords that you should know, and you should see one kind of over here, so over here. So just make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to get updated. And if you have any questions, if you need any further guidance, please feel free to put something in the comments below. We'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to play what you feel.